PST is divided into two phases. We have a theoretical phase during which they learned how to design lessons, how to handle discipline issues, many things. And here, during model school or practicum, they are applying those techniques.
In a lesson well designed, we want to see some steps. The first one will be for sure the warming up activity or building on what students already know in terms of what do they know, what's the background about the topic of the day. And then giving information like explaining vocabulary word, explaining grammatical structure, but also practice throughout the lesson. Because when you teach a new vocabulary word or new vocabulary words, you want to give students some opportunity to reuse them, to practice them. When you teach a grammatical structure, you want to give them the opportunity to practice and to reuse the grammatical structure. But then, when you do, you give them the opportunity to practice throughout the lesson, at a certain point, the teachers want to be the observer, giving the student opportunity to produce.
Today in our lesson, we started out with a warm-up. So we did a little imitation warm-up, do as I do, just to get them excited and the blood pumping because it's really early in the morning.
If I do something, you repeat it, okay? If I do a gesture, you repeat it, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Do as I do, you say I do. Do as I do.
I do.
Do as I do.
I do.
Do as I do.
I do.
And then after that, we reviewed yesterday's lesson on the adverbs of frequency, which is like usually, always, sometimes, stuff like that, just to remind them.
Yesterday, you learned a lot of things, okay? For example, you learned about the adverbs. What are the adverbs of frequency that you know?
Usually. Yes, repeat. Usually.
Usually.
That's very good.
Okay, I want a volunteer to make up a sentence with one adverb. A volunteer to make up a sentence with one adverb. Yes?
John, always, this, always, this, Lisa,
Okay, please come and write this. Write it here. Okay, who else?
Yeah.
Who else want to make up a sentence?
Then we moved on to the new lesson, which was in towns and cities.
Okay, and this is sequence number 2. Who can tell me the name of sequence number 2?
In town and city.
Very good. In towns and cities. Repeat.
In town and city.
So we basically introduced what a town and a city is, and introduced new vocabulary like traffic lights and traffic jam, crossroads, skyscraper.
Teaching vocabulary requires some steps. The first one is just to present the word and having them know the meaning of it, and then the pronunciation, and then the spelling. And to do that, we need just to motivate them, just to give them the present the word, that's the presentation, and then the practice, and then production. When teaching the kids of this age, it's necessary just to avoid using grammar translation method, which is translating the words to them, but rather use visual aids that they can easily, anytime that they see those visual aids, they can remember the word.
Okay, so who can tell me, what is this? Yep. What is this? Ooh, yes.
This is a market.
A market, yes, but more specifically, what comes before market? Yes.
It is a city.
Oh, it is a city. Not quite. Market was correct, but what comes before market?
A supermarket.
A supermarket, yes, clap for him.
And then we do a bunch of activities, like writing activities, and have them say the words and work on pronunciation, and just make sure they know how to contextualize the vocabulary words.
5 years ago, when I came on board as education program manager, our TEFL program only focused on students. So teaching, trainees were trained to become teachers, and they focused on teaching English on their own. They had 3 classes or 4 classes, and that's how the program was. And then we began thinking about how we can maximize volunteers' impact as teachers.
The benefits of team teaching are that I get to teach with amazing teachers like Abel, who are very, very experienced, and that is invaluable because this is my first time teaching in a classroom setting like this, and being able to observe a professional in the Beninese setting is so, so useful. And in general, team teaching is great because Peace Corps is an exchange. This is a cultural exchange. So it's not just me teaching and someone observing, or a Beninese teacher teaching and me observing. It's us teaching together so we can create something sustainable and just promote the idea that this is a cultural exchange and that we're learning from each other.
Techniques that I will be applying today that I learned at PST include energy, controlling the classroom based upon your energy and having the students mirror that energy. So the positive, almost upbeat, energetic motions using gestures, as well as being positive and encouraging students to participate is very important.
I am ready to learn. I am very excited to learn. English is fun.
The outline of the lesson that Frank and I are planning to teach today is reading comprehension. So we first present some sort of contextual clues, some contextual questions to get the students into that sort of subject or frame of focus. And then we are going to present the text. And while we have them read the text, we will be writing on the board an activity, a matching activity for difficult words that we believe they might come across as challenging or that they haven't seen before. And so then we'll have the students work silently to do the matching together, and then doing a group activity to where they would compare and check answers with each other.
We have a reading exercise, a text called Changing Communication. Now we just had exercises, activities, traditional or modern communication. Right? Yes? What is traditional? What are traditional means of communication? What are modern means of communication? In this text, we will read about the changing, about the changing means of communication. From traditional to modern. Activity 1. Match the words or phrases in column A to their definition in column B. The words are in the text. You read them. Activity 1. Answer activity 1, matching. Match the words or phrases in column A with their definition in column B. You have 5 minutes.
Number 3, linked. Linked. Okay? Look at me. Linked. Linked. Yes, you? Sorry? D. Read D. Read. Connected. Yeah. Do you agree with him? Do you agree? I also agree. Connecting. That's connecting. Go and write it on the board.
We will be discussing a true or false scenario dependent on the text, and in order to get the students really thinking not only just about true or false, but also to justify their answers with the text.
You have 5 minutes, individual work, to read the 4 sentences and to tell me if they are true or false. What is the answer? Yes. True. Come to right. Yes. Nowadays, communication is possible through the internet. All right, number 4. All the way up there.
And then after that, we will be doing a short answer, complete the sentence question. So using the information that they learned from the text and from the previous exercises, forming their own responses that are germane to the text that we presented. And then lastly, we will be doing an assessment. So gathering information that was previously taught in the earlier lesson as well as the lesson that we will be teaching today.
Okay, class. Look here. In English, the adjective does not take S. Okay? So we have here African, which is an adjective. So we say African people communicated with talking drums from village to village. I'm very happy with his answer, especially after the game.
When volunteers work with experienced teachers, they also learn from them how to make the lesson plan dynamic. What activities do students like? As they were educated in the system, they master the system better than volunteers. So it is a kind of relation that we call donner et recevoir, give and receive.
The advantages of team teaching are really understanding how Beninese teachers would teach and then kind of joining what you remember from your own teaching, like your own to engage the class, because if you're 2 hours and by yourself, oftentimes you can't handle everything and you can't handle the classroom because you're also busy writing on the board or facilitating a lesson with students. So having 2 teachers to circulate and to look out for students and to help them about is really important. And team teaching also is just really fun. It's a fun and energetic exercise to do. It gets you really excited about teaching. The feedback that teachers give you is very, very important for you in your development as a teacher, and team teaching permits that experience.
My lesson topic was adjectives ending in AL. I started off by 3 sentences asking them to find the adjectives, so first kind of get them acclimated. Lesson skill and applying it.
We need to think a global, not a partial solution for it.
Good. We need to find. Class repeat, find.
Find.
Good job. Clap for him once. Okay. Who can tell me what is the adjective? The adjective in sentence number 1. Who can tell me the adjective in sentence number 1? What about professional? Yes, very good. So, professional is the adjective. Who can tell me the adjective in sentence number 2? Yes. Very good. Practical. Can you come underline? Very good. Good job. Clap for him twice.
Some of the techniques I've learned is student-centered teaching, which is my biggest one for me because I really try to elicit the content of the lesson from the students by asking them questions and not just giving it to them. That's my biggest one. And then classroom management, just pacing around the class and being able to kind of have control over the whole class, seeing what all the students are doing, and having them engaged and having a lively class without it getting out of hand. And then just I learned how to plan a lesson, doing a warm-up, introducing the topic, having the content of the lesson, applying the work, and then assessing the students. That was a really big skill I learned too.
Are these adjectives formed? How are they formed? For example, profession. What is the root? Professional. What is the root? The root of in professional. Yes. A noun, yes, it is a noun, very good. And it is profession, right? Very good. Profession, which is the root plus AL equals excellent, professional. So we call these, what is the name of this? Do you know? We said these are these nouns? All of this, is this a noun? Is this a noun? Or is it an adjective? Adjective. Very good. These are adjectives. They are adjectives ending in AL. Very good. Adjectives ending in AL. And the rule is that you have the root of the word copybooks. Thank you. Activity 1. Form adjectives from these nouns. We will do number 1 together as an example, okay? So number 1, nation. What is the adjective for nation? Yes?
Nation.
National. Very good. Can you come right? Now, in your activity copybooks, you will do the activity individually. You have 3 minutes. 3 minutes, okay? Okay. Number 2. Practice. Someone I haven't heard. Yes. Practical. Very good. Can you come right? Practical. Class, is that correct?
Yes.
Class, is this correct? Yes. Yes. Good job. Clap for her twice.
I definitely feel prepared after model school because out of all the training, this is really the best practice we can get because we're with actual Beninese students in a classroom context and we're really practicing what we will be doing. I really could see my evolution over the past 3 weeks. Like my first class, I felt really self-conscious, like I didn't know what I was doing. And then now I really feel confident in the classroom, like I have control over it. I know what I'm doing, my students are engaged and they're understanding.
Benin is very lucky because Benin is one of the countries that is selected to pilot the TEFL certificate.
This certification will professionalize our TEFL center, and then our volunteers will be seen as TEFL professionals. They will definitely choose to participate in this program. They will choose to become teachers, and they will have some passion for teaching. Volunteers will maximize their impact. The host country receiving volunteer, they will feel like, okay, they are not sending generalists as teachers, but they are sending people who want to be teachers, who are interested in teaching, and who go through all the training they need to become qualified teachers. And then when they get back to the US, maybe they want to continue teaching as a career. And if this is the case, we think that, then they can benefit, they can get something out of their 2 years of experience. And if they get a certificate at the end of this experience, it can be a passport for their future or for their career if they really want to continue with teaching.